right, boys and girls, so I just want to remind you that clubs are coming up and we need you to sign up. Mrs. Matthews has her ceramics club. She's got super cool projects for you to do, either where you're painting something that she already has, or she's going to be showing you how to make things out of clay. And then my favorite things club, we always do crazy stuff like, well, for Valentine's Day, we'll do some projects, maybe decorate some cupcakes. I also have a little mannequin thing that I'll show you that we're going to be doing that you can take home as part of that. So be sure to sign up. Last week when we were together, we were studying Rene Magritte, and that was super fun. And I'm wondering how many of you remember the poem, Bowler Hats, Birds, and Bright Blue Skies. Magritte saw the world with different eyes. And we read Dinner at Magritte's book. This week, we're learning about a man named Paul Klee. And Paul Klee, we're going to be finding out about him in just a minute. But the biggest takeaway I want for you to take from him is that he really valued making artwork that would make your imagination work. In fact, he loved kids because he thought that the way that kids drew was the way everyone should draw. So our poem for him this week is Your Imagination is Valuable and Great. Paul Klee worked so hard to paint like he was 8. And by that I mean 8 years old. And let me show you some of his paintings. This is just something I found where they said, oh, some of Klee's paintings look like they were done by a child. Well, yeah, exactly, because that is what he was trying to do. And I'll tell you why. He would look at a picture like this and say, hey kid, draw this family. And a kid will draw just like this. No problem, easy peasy. And some people say, what? That's not what they look like at all. Look at this. Look at all these details they had, da 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 da. But Paul Klee loved it how a child could just simplify it down to something that didn't have to be all perfect and that they had to worry about and all that they could just have fun drawing it. So when he tried to paint, he said, I'm not going to draw mountains to look like this. He would just kind of look and see, wow, there's a lot of triangles going on in there. And he would go ahead and do the same thing. If you look at this painting here, a lot of kids have said different things. I have a feeling some of you already have something in mind. And it might be what some other kids have said, that this looks like a city or a castle or maybe skyscrapers, and that there's a red balloon or a hot air balloon. Now, in no way does this picture look exactly like what I just described, but there are enough cues there to let you know to get your imagination going. This one, just look at that for a little while. We had kids say, okay, there's a fish. The fish is in the coral reef, and that's coral. Maybe the fish is in a fish bowl. Maybe the fish is in outer space, and this is his little outer space machine. What word am I looking for? His UFO. Someone said maybe he's in a Chinese restaurant, and these are help me out, Dana. Fortune cookies, exactly. This one, people have had lots of fun with this one. Man, people see eyeballs in the sky. People see whole cities. Some kids say this is our whole forest with all these different trees. Someone else said it's like an earthquake going on where the whole thing is like jiggling and wiggling all over the place. Some people said that's not an eyeball, that's a moon. So fun to look at Paul Klee's artwork. Here there's a clock, a forest, but some people don't even see that. They see open books. Other kids see, oh, it looks like just a whole bunch of, like a quilt. Someone said, oh, I know where that is. That's in the desert. That's like New Mexico or Arizona. Someone else says, no, 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 no. Everyone has their own ideas when they look at Paul Klee's art. If I gave each of you a piece of paper right now and had you look at this and said, write me a story, some of you would write about people. Some of you would write about maybe that these were letters saying a secret message. Some kids have said, no, 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 that's bacteria. And these are germs here. All these different crazy ideas. Well, today we're looking at this featured painting. It's called Cat and Bird, and it's by Paul Klee. I want you to look at it carefully. And rather than asking you what you think this painting is about, I'm going to read to you a book by a woman named Geraldine Elshner. Not actually going to read it word for word, but I'm just going to tell you the essence of the story, because what she did was she saw this picture right here and said, there's a cat. He's got a heart for a nose. He's got a bird right between his eyeballs up there. Some kids even said it seemed like a moon up there on the top. What could be a story that would go with this? How could I use my imagination? So let me just tell you the story that she came up with. She said, once upon a time there was a cat who was living in the most beautiful house, except for the fact that there were bars on the windows, so the cat could not get outside. Every day he looked through the bars and he would see all the beautiful things outside and he would dream of being out there. In fact, he was very jealous of this bird here who was able to just flit and flutter from tree to tree looking at all these beautiful leaves and the colors. Oh, and he would hear the birds singing and it was so happy. In his mind, he would imagine chasing the bird all over the place outside, and that they could have little adventures, and maybe even the cat would eat the bird. Who knows? So one day he was sitting all locked up in his house, especially sad, when he had an idea. He called the bird over to him and he said, "Bird, you have such a wonderful pointy beak. Do you think that you would be willing to break through the bars of my house so I could get outside?" Now, as you can understand, the bird was a little suspicious of this. So he said, "Well, how do I know that you're not going to eat me as soon as I peck through the bars of your house?" And he said, "I give you my word. I promise." So the bird, being a very trusting little animal, went over and pecked at the bars, and sure enough, before he knew it, the cat was out of the house and enjoying life. Oh my goodness, he was scampering from house to house. Oh man, he doesn't walk on the ground. Oh no, no, he wants to go higher and higher up by the bird. Here he is, he's like going all over the town and in the village. He's trying to get up to that eyeball of a moon up there, having the best time. Now this is where I always wonder, is he going to catch up with that bird and eat him? What do you guys think? In the end, we see the cat cuddled up with the bird, and he says, "Thank you, little bird. I will never forget you. Your image will always be engraved in my memory, completely and forever." The cat kept his promise. The bird was faithful to the cat, and now the cat would always remember him. And that is why this person believed there was a bird right there on the cat's forehead, so that the bird would always remember, or the cat would always remember the bird. Right now, we're going to start a project where we're actually going to draw this cat, and we're going to do it together.